Your marks are swapped. Find why. Or your souls unravel in 7 days.
The first thing Kael registered was the wrongness. Not the hangover pounding behind his temples like a drum corps, nor the stale smell of rain-soaked gear in his storm chaser truck camper. It was the skin on his right shoulder blade, where the familiar, jagged thrill of his lightning bolt soulmark had pulsed since birth, a symbol of his wild spirit, his connection to the untamed sky. There was only smooth skin, and something else. He scrambled upright, ignoring the protesting lurch of his stomach, and twisted before the cracked mirror bolted to the camper wall. Reflected in the grimy glass was chaos. Gone was his bold, electric blue lightning bolt. In its place, etched onto his skin like spilled silver ink, was a delicate, intricate constellation. Stars connected by fine lines, forming a shape he vaguely recognized. Orion, the harp, something an archivist or an astronomer would cherish, something soft, panic, cold and sharp, sliced through the hangover fog. He scrubbed at the mark with a calloused thumb until the skin burned red, but the stars remained, stubborn and alien. "No," he rasped, the word raw. "This isn't mine." A primal dread seized him. Without his soulmark, he was unmoored. A ghost in a world defined by destined pairs. News reports flashed in his memory, rare soulmark tremors, whispered fears of cosmic instability, warnings from robed figures on street corners about fate unraveling. Had it touched him? He slammed a fist against the flimsy metal wall, the reverberation echoing his internal chaos. Across the sprawling marble and glass metropolis of Athenium City, Lyra Starling sat rigidly at her pristine archival workstation. The sterile glow of the digitization scanner illuminated the fragile vellum page before her, a 14th century treatise on celestial navigation. Her focus, usually laser-sharp, shattered the moment she adjusted her thin cotton glove. Her left wrist, her soulmark. The familiar, comforting pattern of Orion, the hunter, steadfast and sure, was gone, vanished. In its place, crackling across her pulse point with unsettling vibrancy, was a jagged bolt of lightning. It looked angry, chaotic, utterly wrong against her meticulously ordered world. A choked gasp escaped her lips. She ripped off the glove, staring in horror. The lightning seemed to pulse, a volatile energy trapped beneath her skin. Her meticulously planned life, her identity as the Grand Athenium's most precise archivist, her quiet certainty in the universe's design, all fissured like ancient parchment. She fumbled for her calm, fingers trembling. "Security? There's been an irregularity." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I require immediate isolation." They found each other through desperation and dread. Kael, guided by a grizzled, shadow-dwelling mark reader in the city's underbelly, traced the stolen lightning bolt's faint magical resonance to the Athenium's towering spires. Lyra, using archival algorithms to track the anomalous energy signature of the vanished Lyra constellation, pinpointed it to a nomadic storm chaser logged near the Dust Bowl Badlands. Their first meeting in the hushed, incense-scented chamber of the Mark Keeper was volcanic. Kael, smelling of ozone and leather, dripping rainwater onto priceless mosaics, glared at the woman perched on a silk cushion like a nervous bird. "You," he accused, pointing a finger. "You stole it! What kind of archive witch messes with soulmarks?" Lyra recoiled, adjusting her spectacles, her gloved hand instinctively covering the lightning bolt on her wrist. "Witch? I stole it? Look at this vandalism on my skin." Her voice, usually modulated, rose with indignation. "You think I wanted this barbaric scribble? I had Orion, order, precision, not chaos incarnate." She gestured wildly at his shoulder where her constellation shimmered. "You call my mark chaos? It's power, freedom, not some dusty dot-to-dot puzzle. Freedom to die under a tornado, no doubt. Better than suffocating under a stack of moldy scrolls." "Enough!" The voice wasn't loud, but it resonated with an ancient, undeniable authority. The Mark Keeper, a figure robed in shifting constellations that seemed woven into the fabric itself, stepped forward. Their face was ageless, eyes like condensed starlight holding eons of sorrow. They held up 2 crystalline ID chips, Kael's Storm Chaser license, Lyra's Athenium Access Pass. "Kael Ashcroft, Lyra Starling, your soulmarks are not stolen, they are swapped. A fracture in the weave." The Mark Keeper's gaze pinned them both. "This instability is unprecedented. The bond is rejecting the inversion. If the cause is not found and the fracture healed within 7 days..." They paused, the weight of the unsaid crushing the air from the room. "Both marks will dissolve, and without the anchor of your soul marks, your souls will unravel. You will become soulless, shadows walking in daylight, shunned, lost. Kael's defiance faltered, replaced by cold terror. Soulless, the ultimate outcast. Lyra paled, her hand tightening over the lightning bolt. "How?" she breathed. "That," the mark keeper said, placing the confiscated ID chips on a low obsidian table, "is for you to discover, together. Find the source of the fracture. Only understanding can mend it. Fail, and you fade from existence. 7 days." With a ripple of starlight, the mark keeper vanished, leaving only the scent of ozone and old parchment. A suffocating silence descended. Kael looked at Lyra, this woman who embodied everything he despised: order, caution, dusty academia. She looked back at him, the human equivalent of a rogue thunderhead. Reckless, unpredictable, dangerous. Hatred, sharp and mutual, flashed between them. But beneath it, a shared, desperate fear churned. Reluctantly, bitterly, their truce was forged. The next 6 days were a gauntlet of mutual exasperation and accidental revelations, forced proximity chipping away at their preconceptions like water on stone. Lyra's domain, Athenium sublevel 7, restricted archives. Kael felt like a bull trapped in a crystal shop. He bumped into meticulously organized shelves, sending cascades of scroll tubes clattering. He dripped rainwater onto a 500-year-old star chart. "It's just paper," he grumbled, mopping it with his sleeve. Lyra snatched a microfiber cloth, her movements precise and furious. "It's history, you walking disaster. It's knowledge, something you clearly treat with the same reverence as mud." Yet, when Kael accidentally triggered an ancient warding glyph, it was Lyra's encyclopedic knowledge of archival security protocols that disabled the crackling energy trap before it vaporized him. He stared, stunned. "You? Saved me?" "Hardly," she sniffed, though a faint flush touched her cheeks. "The Athenium insurance premiums are astronomical enough without adding vaporized storm chasers." But he saw the tremor in her hands as she recalibrated the glyph. Kael's element, the howling steps, edge of Stormfront Sigma. Lyra clung to the dash of Kael's modified storm chaser truck, Tempest, as it bucked over the rough terrain. Rain lashed the windshield, wind screamed. "This is insanity," she yelled over the din. "We should be analyzing spectral data, not chasing death clouds." "Death clouds hold answers," Kael yelled back, eyes alight with fierce excitement as he steered towards the boiling black wall. "Feel the energy? That crackle? It's like the tremors." A blinding flash, a deafening crack as lightning struck a ridge mere yards away. Lyra screamed, burying her face. Kael just laughed, a wild, free sound. Then the truck's sensors screamed a proximity alert he'd missed. A micro-tornado vortex spun directly into their path. Kael swore, wrenching the wheel. Too late. Debris pummeled the truck, lifting a tire off the ground. They were going over. Lyra's hand shot out, jamming coordinates into the secondary nav. Hard left. Now. 45 degrees. Wind shear vector shifting. Her voice was pure, icy command. Kael obeyed instinctively. The truck slammed down, skidded violently, but stayed upright, the vortex whipping past. Silence, broken only by their ragged breathing and the pounding rain. Kael looked at her, water dripping from his brow, seeing past the prim archivist for the first time. "You calculated that? In your head? Mid-tornado?" Lyra pushed her rain-slicked hair back, her glasses askew. "Vector calculus, basic atmospheric dynamics. Unlike some, I prefer data to dumb luck." But her knuckles were white where she gripped the seat, and Kael saw the fear she usually masked so well. He also saw the fierce intelligence that had just saved their lives. "Thanks," he muttered, the word unfamiliar on his tongue. A grudging respect flickered. The revelation, Vorentech Laboratories, security feed. Back in Lyra's makeshift Athenium analysis hub, a chaotic blend of her pristine equipment and Kael's discarded gear, they pored over energy signatures correlated with the Soulmark tremors. Lyra's fingers flew over holographic keys, cross-referencing the chaotic spike from the storm with the tremor pattern. "The resonance. It's identical to the signature recorded during our swap," she murmured, frowning. "But amplified, industrial scale." She overlaid a map. "Originating here. The location pulsed. Vorentech Laboratories, cutting-edge energy research, headed by Dr. Eris Voren." Lyra froze, her face drained of color. "Voren," she whispered. "He was my mentor. Years ago, before he was dismissed, he theorized about soulmarks as pure, programmable energy, called them biological destiny circuits. The Ethics Council deemed it abhorrent." Kael's blood ran cold. "He's using the tremors? Using us?" Before Lyra could answer, the door hissed open. Dr. Eris Voren stood there, flanked by silent guards in sleek black armor. He was immaculate, silver-haired, with eyes like cold chips of obsidian. A faint, humming energy field shimmered around him. "Lyra, my dear prodigy," he said, his voice smooth as poisoned honey. "And the Storm Wielder. How fortuitous. Your little field trip confirmed my hypothesis beautifully." Kael surged forward, but an invisible force slammed him against the wall, pinning him. Lyra cried out, similarly immobilized. Vorin strolled closer, examining the lightning bolt on her wrist with detached fascination. "The swap wasn't an accident, children. It was my experiment. A controlled fracture. I needed to see if a soul bond could withstand incompatibility, hatred even. The resilience was fascinating." He tapped a device on his wrist. "Your fracturing bond emits unique energy. Energy I can harvest, refine, power to transcend this fragile flesh, to become eternal." He gestured to the guards. "Take them. The well's energy signature is peaking. Their unraveling bond will be the perfect catalyst for my ascension." Lyra met Kael's eyes across the room. Fear, yes, but also a burning defiance. They were in this together, forced partners, unlikely allies, maybe something more. The guards closed in. The cell was cold, featureless metal. Vorin's guards had confiscated everything, even Lyra's gloves. The lightning bolt on her wrist felt like a brand. Kael paced like a caged beast, shoulder throbbing where her constellation lay under his torn shirt. "We have to get out. The well, he's heading there now. We have hours left, Lyra. Hours." Lyra sat hunched, her mind racing. Vorin's lab was a fortress, but she knew its backbone. The Athenium had designed its original archival data core. She remembered pneumatic tubes, an old, redundant system for moving sensitive physical data, running like veins through the building. She focused on the faint, rhythmic hiss thump vibrating through the wall. "Kael," she whispered urgently. "Listen." He stopped pacing, tilting his head. The walls, breathing, pneumatics. The old Athenium core transport system, terminus points. She visualized the blueprints. One terminus is waste processing, a grimace, but the main junction is right outside security control, if I can send a signal. "How? We've got nothing." Lyra looked down at her bare hands, then at Kael. An idea sparked, desperate and painful. "The marks," she breathed. "They resonate with each other. When we argued, I felt it, a pull. Vorin said they emit energy when fracturing." She met his gaze, her eyes wide with fear and determination. "I need you to fight me, really fight. Anger, hate, whatever you can muster. Focus it on the marks." Kael stared. "You want me to hate you? Now? Lyra, I don't." He stopped. He saw the plan, saw the terrifying logic. He took a breath, summoning the old fury. "Fine, you want chaos, archivist. You got it. You're a walking prison of rules. You suffocate everything. That stupid constellation. It's weak, pathetic, just like you." He shoved her shoulder, the contact jolting. Her constellation on his skin burned. Lyra recoiled, stung, but channeled the pain into her own anger. "Weak? Pathetic? You're a suicidal adrenaline junkie. Your freedom is just running from everything. That lightning bolt? It's not power, it's instability, a death wish." She shoved him back, her fingers brushing the constellation on his shoulder. A visible spark crackled between their marks. The air hummed. "Enough!" Kael roared, the word laced with genuine frustration and fear. He grabbed her wrists. The moment his hand closed over the lightning bolt on her skin, and her hand, reacting, gripped his bicep near the constellation, an arc of pure, visible energy, silver and electric blue, snapped between their chests. It hit the metal wall with a resonant gong. In security control, a monitor flared, displaying a massive, localized energy spike in cell block gamma. "Anomaly in prisoner containment," an automated voice blared. Alarms whooped. Guards scrambled. Kael and Lyra broke apart, gasping, the air crackling. Distracted shouts echoed outside. "Now," Lyra hissed. Kael slammed his shoulder into the door, weakened by the energy surge. It buckled. He kicked it open. Chaos reigned as guards ran towards the false alarm. They slipped into the frenzied corridor. The soul well wasn't a well at all. It was a cavern deep beneath the city, accessible only through a hidden fissure the Markkeeper had cryptically described. Stalactites dripped liquid light. The air thrummed with primordial power, tasting of ozone and stardust. At the cavern's heart pulsed a pool of pure, swirling energy, silver, blue, gold, like a captured nebula. This was the source, the birthplace of Soulmarks. Vorin stood at its edge, arms raised, bathed in the well's radiance. A complex apparatus hummed beside him, siphoning tendrils of light into a central crystal. He was transforming, his form shimmering, becoming less human, more Energy. Too late, children. His voice echoed, distorted. The ascension begins. Your fracturing bond is the perfect key. Not today, Eris, Lyra shouted, her voice surprisingly steady. She darted towards the control console of his machine, her mind racing over the schematics she'd glimpsed during her internship years ago. Kael didn't hesitate. He charged Vorin, a roar tearing from his throat. It wasn't reckless abandon, it was a calculated distraction. Vorin, now partially energy, flickered and lashed out. A bolt of pure force sent Kael skidding back, pain exploding in his ribs. Lyra's fingers flew over the console. It needs a harmonic resonance to stabilize the siphon, she muttered, recalling Vorin's obsessive notes. But the inverse frequency, she saw it. A chance. Kael, the storm, channel it into the siphon node. Now. She pointed to a glowing conduit feeding the central crystal. Kael looked from Lyra, illuminated by the well's glow, fierce and brilliant, to the raging energy storm that was Vorin. He saw her trust, felt the echo of his mark, her constellation burning on his shoulder. He wasn't alone. He closed his eyes, not seeking the storm's fury, but its raw, untamed life. He reached out with everything he was, not to fight the sky, but to join it. Above the cavern, miles above the city, Stormfront Sigma answered. A searing bolt of lightning, guided by Kael's desperate will and Lyra's precise coordinates, speared down through rock and earth, striking the siphon node. The machine screamed. The harmonic resonance shattered. Pure, unfiltered storm energy flooded the circuit, overloading the delicate siphon. The central crystal flared blindingly white, then exploded in a shower of sparks. Vorin's form contorted, a scream of rage and disbelief tearing through the cavern as the siphon reversed, pulling him apart. His energy scattered, absorbed back into the swirling chaos of the well, his immortality dissolving into the void. Silence crashed back, broken only by the drip of liquid light in their ragged breaths. Kael pushed himself up, wincing, and stumbled to Lyra's side. She was staring at the well, tears tracking clean lines down her dusty face. "It's over," she whispered. But the mark-keeper materialized beside the well's shimmering pool. "Not quite. The fracture remains. The bond is still inverted. The choice is yours now." They gestured to the well. "Step into the source. It can reverse the swap. Restore your original marks. Reset your bond to its intended state." Their starlight eyes held Kael and Lyra. "Or, it can forge something new. From the fracture, from the choice you make together, beyond the dictates of the initial design." Kael looked at Lyra. Saw the archivist who calculated tornado vectors, who faced down her monstrous mentor, who had stars etched not just on his skin, but somehow in his soul. He saw fear, yes, but also a dawning wonder. Lyra looked at Kael, the storm chaser who listened, who fought for her, who carried her constellation. She saw the chaos that had saved them, the wildness that felt less like recklessness and more like life. They didn't speak, they simply reached for each other's hands. The lightning bolt and the constellation flared where their skin met. Together, they stepped into the swirling light of the soul well. Agony, ecstasy, the universe unfolding. They saw Kael as a child, watching the storm that took his mother, the helplessness forging his need to chase, to conquer. They saw Lyra, a small girl in a crumbling, chaotic home, building walls of order and knowledge to feel safe. They saw their clashes, chaos meeting control, fear meeting fury, not as opposites repelling, but as jagged pieces seeking connection. They saw the rescue, the shared fear, the spark of respect, the terrifying, exhilarating slide into something deeper than hatred, deeper than fate. The well didn't reset, it reforged. They emerged, gasping, onto the cavern floor. On Kael's right shoulder, the silver constellation of Lyra remained, but now a single, bold, electric blue lightning bolt pierced its heart, connecting its brightest stars. On Lyra's left wrist, the jagged lightning bolt still flashed, but it was now cradled, grounded, by the delicate silver lines of Orion, the hunter's form embracing the storm. The mark-keeper smiled, a genuine warmth radiating from them. The storm and the stars, the grounded lightning, a bond not found but forged. Chosen, they vanished, leaving only the echo of their words and the soft pulse of the well. Sunlight streamed into Lyra's previously immaculate apartment. Canvas drop-cloths covered the floor. Kael, his new, old mark, the storm Orion, proudly displayed, stood on a ladder, carefully painting a swirling nebula onto one wall. Lyra, wearing old jeans splattered with blue paint, Orion's belt color, directed him, a genuine smile on her face. "A little more to the left." "No, your left." Kael grinned, shifting. His foot slipped on a paint can lid. He lurched. A wave of deep blue paint sloshed from the tray, arcing through the air. Lyra shrieked, but it was too late. Paint splattered across the section of wall she'd just finished, a perfect, intricate star chart, and across the front of her clean t-shirt. Silence. Kael froze, bracing for the eruption. Lyra looked down at the blue stain blooming across the stars on her shirt, then up at the ruined star chart, then at Kael's horrified face. A laugh bubbled up, unexpected and bright, filling the sunlit room. She shook her head, paint flecking her cheek. Kael cautiously climbed down. Lyra, I am so sorry, She stepped forward, not towards the mess, but towards him. She reached up, her paint-smeared hand cupping his cheek, her thumb brushing near the constellation lightning mark on his shoulder. Her eyes, warm and alive, held no anger, only amusement and something deeper. "Shut up, Kael," she murmured, and pulled him down into a kiss that tasted of sunlight, possibility, and just a hint of acrylic paint. The storm and the stars, finally at peace, together. Enjoyed the story? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next one.